And this is Insurance You Indemnify Me. My name is Shawn Michael Walker, and today we have the insurance god, Andy Mathisen, here with us. How are you doing?
Just the insurance guy.
Just the insurance guy.
Okay.
Not a god.
No.
I don't know. In my book, I put you God, but little case G, but still God nonetheless.
Fair.
So I want to get started. Who is Andy Mathisen? The world needs to know who Andy Mathisen is. Well, I should say everybody who needs to know knows who Andy Mathisen is, but everybody who doesn't know who Andy Mathisen is, who are you?
What a loaded question. Where to start?
Where do you want to start?
Oh, that's fair. Born and raised here in Colorado. Cool. Not too far from this office.
Did you go to Highlands Ranch High School?
I did. Yes, I'm a Highlands Ranch High School Falcon.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
99, I think.
Okay, 07.
Whoa.
There you go. There's the math.
Oh, my gosh.
There's the math.
But,
gosh, I've always grown up in an insurance family, hence the industry I'm in.
Yep.
My pops started at country companies back in the early and mid-90s.
Wow.
And then he opened his own independent agency in 2001, 2002, so roughly, and off and away we went.
Yeah.
I was always kind of watching him from afar at the kitchen table, doing quoting, selling insurance.
Yeah.
It was always kind of intriguing. Sales in general.
Right.
Actually, it reminds me. I laugh a little bit. He always had this sales voice where he changed his voice when he was on the phone with a client.
Like, hello.
Yeah, exactly. And I always made fun of him for that when you were like 8, 9, 10.
Right.
Dad, why do you change your voice? You sound kind of silly.
Yeah.
Like that's not how you talk to me.
He's like, well, I'm on stage.
Got to get in the zone, Chief.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was always intrigued by that, the sales and aspect. And the insurance industry is never sexy, as everyone says, but
I don't know. I personally love it.
Yeah.
I think anybody who's in it loves it.
Yes.
But it's not sexy until you get into it and you get comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And then it turns.
I think of the average Joe, the person out driving their car is not over here thinking about this industry, right?
Yeah. Right.
Just they're taking care of their business when they have to.
Yeah. Right.
But anyway, so that's how I got into the insurance industry. As far as who else I am, sports fanatic, huge Denver Broncos fan.
Yeah, that's been rough.
What the
been
heck?
Real
happened?
rough.
What happened?
What did happen?
I don't know. I don't think we can put a finger on it, but we're gonna have to see how this off season goes. That was so I've been a fan since I was 7, and this is easily the most disappointing season.
Seriously,
the expectations were way up there.
I agree.
Now we're veering off, but
Broncos. Did you do all sports? Like, did you get into the World Cup? Were you all over that, or were you like, whatever? I'm a football guy.
Probably
not a
frustrate
soccer
some people, but
Uh-oh.
I'm just not a soccer guy. And hey, I can respect it, but when the score's 1-1 and you end with a tie, I'm not too pleased to put in all that work for a tie.
I think that's the typical American sentiment, isn't it? Like, hey, why did I wait 90 minutes for one single thing to happen?
And it happened to the U.S. at least once in the World Cup.
Right. You did watch the final, though. Like, did you watch the final and go, this is
didn't.
amazing?
No, I didn't.
It is literally the most amazing soccer game ever. You
should
go watch
it. I easily could still go watch it.
You could. But it was 3-3. It ended in a tie.
Sure.
And then
they went. Deciding the champion
I know. But
kick?
then they went to penalty kicks, and it was amazing. But it was literally the best soccer game I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
I should call it a football game because in my mind, soccer is football.
Yeah, there you go. I'm cool with that. Yeah.
But I lived in Mexico for a long time, and so soccer is football in my mind.
I'm totally going to respect that.
Okay.
It's fine.
But I also respect your opinion, too. Like, a lot of people go, hey, soccer just isn't entertaining enough. There's not enough action. There's not enough points.
Yeah.
And I agree. I can see.
When you're
I
a
can
fan
see
of
the
the
logic.
stands, it's a little bit more difficult to appreciate it versus playing, probably. I mean, you're putting your, sweat into it. I mean, I think if you're on the field, you feel differently.
See, from my opinion, we're getting way off on
a
tangent.
Whatever.
Way off now, but from my opinion, I think about like skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
I look at a skateboarder who tries to do his trick 1,000 times, and on the 1,001 time, he lands the trick, whatever thing he did, and he's like, this is why I do this sport, because I fail so often. When I actually succeed, it's an absolutely glorious thing, right?
Like golf.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, that's what soccer is too. Like you come down and you try again and you try again, and there's no scoring, but it's like the beauty in trying. And then when it actually comes to fruition, it's actually an incredibly beautiful thing. Yeah, it's an incredibly beautiful thing.
I'm going to be okay with that.
You know what's interesting is the kids that are intentionally getting into insurance these days. So you said nobody actually tries to get into insurance or doesn't look at it as foxy. And I went to this, I was a speaker at something where there was like 500 kids from all over the United States at a 2-day conference, all getting degrees in risk management. And it was like, these kids find insurance sexy before ever even getting into the insurance industry.
I don't know if it's the wealth that can be built early on in your career,
I don't know.
or if it's just the recognition that it's an obvious, thing that everyone needs. So it's probably a good sale. There's a lot that can possibly go into that sentiment, but I think at the end of the day, maybe our generation is helping this younger generation understand what it can be.
So where'd you go to college?
The University of Kansas.
So you went the same place your brother went?
I did. He's 4 years older, so I would always go out and visit him, and it was excellent. And it was
like, hey, this is great.
Yeah. Now Kansas is not.
Where is that? Is that in Manhattan, or is that? Where is that?
No,
school?
that's Lawrence. So it's 30. It's fine. It's 30 minutes west of Kansas City.
Okay.
So that was a very good experience. And now, obviously, Kansas itself is not all that entertaining, but you drive through and you get into Lawrence, and it's actually very similar to Boulder.
Is it really?
Very similar. With the lifestyle, the culture, the young community. Yeah. It actually is very hilly as well in Lawrence. So
interesting. Interesting, because I just went out to Missouri and there was nothing. I drove through and I'm like, there's nothing in this state.
So Missouri is a big Kansas rival, of course. So we don't have much good to say about it.
Yeah, sure, of course. I don't have anything good to say about Missouri. Nothing at
all.
Fair enough. I was there and I'm like, I don't ever need to ever come back here.
If you're listening and you're out in Missouri, please just come this way. We'll buy you a beer.
If I just offended 400 of our listeners, I'm so sorry about that.
We're good.
All right. So agency life or tech life, what's better?
Oh my! You can't do this to me.
You were part of an incredibly successful agency. I've heard somewhere around $100 million. That's a big, awesome, amazing agency, right? Yeah. And now you got the GloveBox thing going on, which we'll completely get into on this conversation. But what's better, tech life or agency life?
So from a perspective of my day-to-day, the tech life is certainly more fun and engaging and free because at the end of the day, we've built something that was on a piece of paper, so we can keep evolving on that, and we have control over how it's going to end. Yeah. But the actual career path, the agency side, was certainly more enjoyable because with tech specifically, you're kind of waiting on someone else to build in order
before you can go sell it.
And versus
it will look like this. Trust me, it's going to be awesome.
And you talk to any tech company, they're all going to say that. It's just kind of waiting on it to be exactly the way you want it to be.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's hard to be patient. We're all pretty impatient. So that's probably the number one reason why the agency side is a little bit more enjoyable.
Yeah, because you get to ring the gong.
There's
and sold the policy, I win.
There's a warehouse full of insurance to sell.
You can point towards your wins all day long.
Yeah, and just look out the window, and these are all your clients. Versus who we're selling to now. Which again, that's fine. It's fun to sell this software.
Sure. I would think it would be. It looks like it is from afar.
Yeah, and by the way,
you get to wear spacesuits.
I was just going to jump into that.
There are no insurance agents that are walking around in spacesuits.
I was going to say the attire is completely different. I literally wear sweatpants half the time at the office. It's fantastic. Yeah. So that lifestyle is nice. Yeah. So it kind of just depends on the topic.
So what about I believe the tech is hurry up and wait, but I don't know anything about the tech world. Sure. And I am not a tech guy at all. You saw that before we turned on this thing. Before we turned the camera on, we were like, how do we use this thing again?
Yeah. What are these buttons?
But the hurry up and wait or the, sometimes we have to be patient. Can you just throw more developers at it to get it done faster? Or can you not say, how many developers do we have on staff? 20. Okay. Can we hire 80 and get it done in 2 weeks instead of 3 months?
Yeah. So that exact mentality.
Does that not exist?
That exact mentality is what most of us sales marketing guys feel like is the case. Yeah. Just more humans, working on the house, right? Build the house. Supposedly
frame the house faster, guys.
Yeah. Supposedly that's not how it can operate effectively because you are working on an infrastructure that it can only really be understood by certain types of people given their background and their skill set and their language that they write in. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of look at this infrastructure of code. Mm-hmm. how is it being built on top of each other? And so
and what breaks when you build, put too much weight on the foundation or something, maybe? Piece. I don't know.
Yeah, if you have too many people working on one thing or different things at the same time, how do they affect each other? And you can't just, we always make a joke, put the button in, the button in, just like put a button there.
Just give us the button.
And it's really not that easy because the button means something else. It's if I put the button here, what does it mean for over here? And when you click that button, how is it going to impact these buttons?
Right.
You can't just, and so we've learned the hard way. And so the answer is no, you can't just
throw more developers at it.
And so unfortunately, we wish that was the case. But so it's more methodical. And it's been hard to learn that. So
I bet.
Impatient.
I bet. So the next question is who was better with the ladies, you or Ryan? Ryan Mathisen is your brother, obviously. Yeah. Everybody knows Ryan too, but who was better?
Go look him up and go look me up, and you
and you'll be able to know. Go find his Instagram. Go find my Instagram, and you'll know.
No, that's a fun question. I don't even want to answer that because we all know what's going on here. So.
I think I don't know if we know what's going on here.
We'll take a poll.
I think whenever we see you two in the same room, the whole room is sitting there going,
what's going on here?
I wonder which one was better with the ladies. Like they're both good-looking guys. I bet everybody's going,
Do we need to do a case study here?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we know Ryan married a K-State cheerleader.
KU.
Excuse me.
Yeah, big difference.
I'm sorry. Yep. Yeah. No, and I think we'll just leave that one unanswered. But
so it's funny. I when I'm in a bar setting or wherever out in public, somehow I gravitate crazy women.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah. So we have to figure out what's going on in here. To attract that. Right. By the way, I am single, so.
And I'm not interested in crazy women.
Yes. Thanks for rounding that out.
If you're listening to this and you're insane, don't call.
Right.
Okay,
yes. Good. Thank you for making sure that's understood.
Best practice an agent implement in an agency ownership. So, what is the best practice an agent can implement in agency ownership?
Agency ownership is all obviously the entrepreneurial side of things.
Yeah.
We want people to hold that concept and remind themselves of that as often as possible. Entrepreneurship is taking risks and ensuring that you're going to see rewards at some point. And the key word is there at some point.
Yeah.
You're not going to instantly see that. We all want gratification, instant gratification.
Right.
So you have to understand that whatever you put in today isn't necessarily going to turn into something for months, potentially years.
Yep.
But you have to understand that. And so if you put in the legwork every single day to build it on top of each other in an entrepreneurial lifestyle, you will see the fruits of that labor at some point. You just have to understand that it's being patient and making sure that your building blocks are in a row and in order. You're going to do something great in this industry. So agency ownership, especially in this industry, is vital for just looking 5 to 10 years ahead.
And just not losing that entrepreneurial mindset.
Yes.
Because a lot of people get 6 months in and go, this isn't working.
Yeah.
I gotta course correct and do something else.
You can't just twiddle your thumbs on it. You got to do something to take the risk to make something happen.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me to meet an agent who's like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I'm sitting in my office waiting for my phone to ring. And I'm going, man, that's not going to work.
Yep. Yeah. At some point, that's going to affect your paycheck, I would imagine. That can only sustain us for so long.
Yeah.
When we were at our agency, we were always pretty adamant about getting 2 leads a day. Yeah. And that's very simple if you think about it like that, just 2 leads a day. Yeah. So if you kind of hold true to that, you're going to reap the benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I didn't say this to everybody listening, but we're going to bounce back and forth between agency questions and agent lifestyle questions and tech questions. Okay. So we're going to bounce back and forth between GloveBox and agent life.
Sure.
Okay. And so this might feel a little bit disjointed, but I'm doing it on purpose. Okay. So next question is, what the heck is GloveBox?
If you were to think of it from a consumer, a policyholder, it's an insurance wallet.
Okay.
And that's how simply put it can be.
Okay.
It is where I keep my insurance documents, how I manage my stuff, how I can go, take action with my agency, my carrier, whenever I need to. Self-service, if you will.
Yeah.
From an agency perspective, it's a client experience platform. Where do your clients go to engage with your agency? How can they get in touch with you? How can they work with you? How can they better bridge the gap in communication with the agency and the carrier?
Yeah.
So we've really compiled and aggregated all carrier apps and portals into one place and brand it to the independent agent.
Yeah.
And then there's carrier workflows like being able to pay a bill, start a claim, obviously get your documents.
Yeah.
And then agency workflows like requesting insurance, requesting more insurance if you're already a client.
Change my cars.
Yep. Request service, et cetera. So, and refer your agent is a big one.
Yeah.
So, because, think about it, a lot of times consumers don't know how to refer someone. They're just like, here's a phone number, go call.
Yeah. I don't know who my agent is, but I have this app here. Download this app. You'll have my agent on your phone.
So it's affecting, for an agency, it's improving workflows, which is a big deal. It makes their day smoother. And it's helping them increase revenue, hopefully with retention, and decreasing service, basic service, the things that are making them money.
I guess maybe we'll get to this later, but I know you guys were working on part of the app was like suggesting to the agent what lines they were missing, right? Or something like
suggesting that? To the policyholder.
Oh, saying what lines the policyholder's missing.
Yeah. So example, you monoline home with the agency, the system knows that.
Yeah.
It is going to be pushing a notification to that individual asking them if they want a quote for their auto.
Very cool.
So that's going to obviously help cross sells because we'll be honest about this part of the conversation. Insurance agents just really aren't that good at cross-selling in general. So if you're listening, hopefully that's a challenge. Be better at cross-selling. Yeah. Make sure that what's being asked of you for a quote on auto is turning into a home and auto package. Yeah,
and an umbrella.
And by the way, I personal lines
the
guy.
hitch in your pitch and all that kind of stuff. Like, where's the what you got a hitch on your thing? What are you telling?
Precisely. Yep, you nailed it. So ask the right questions, and it's okay to ask. What's the worst that can happen?
Of course, right.
So anyways, being able to cross-sell better is what the technology is definitely veering towards. Yeah. When we want to round it out by just helping the client understand that they're not just going to use this for simply getting documents. Like it is a true engagement platform where you can communicate, you can manage your stuff, and you can buy more insurance. Yeah. So the long-term vision is having a marketplace to buy, literally quote bind issue inside the application, and then other ancillary products as well. Pet insurance and whatnot.
There was something else. So they can put all of their stuff in the GloveBox, right? Yeah. So they can put all of their life policies in there, and they can put their I don't know. I'm just saying they can put all of their insurance stuff in the GloveBox, and then the agent can go, hey, I can see all of the stuff they put in the GloveBox. I only have one of those policies. All those other 6 policies aren't mine. Yeah. And then they can go work on making them theirs or something?
Yeah, so I'll help.
Is that accurate? Am I on the right path?
We are personal lines only today. Okay. Commercial is designed and approved. We just have to have it engineered in Q1 of 2023. Okay. And then life and health is right behind that. Okay. We actually have the ability to go pull life and health policies and commercial policies right now. Yeah. It just has to be engineered properly so that it shows well on the interface. Yeah, yeah. So there's that impatience right there. Yeah, right. But really, yes, if you were a policyholder with your agency, you could add your home that you have with the agency, and then any other lines of business that you have, would it be on the personal line side specifically? So if it was a home policy, auto policy outside the agency,
boat, motorcycle,
the insurance agent can seek out in their dashboard inside of that client's GloveBox which policies aren't with my agency. So if they have a Geico and Allstate policy outside my agency, I'm going to be able to see that. Yeah. Hey, and now I'm asking them, hey, I'm noticing here, I see your deck page for Allstate at Geico. Would you mind if I cross-sold that into our business? Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a huge opportunity. Prospecting, X dates is great. Yeah,
you bring up a great point. Like, I think there's so much gold within every single insurance agent's book, and it sounds to me like GloveBox is this amazing tool to help them mine the gold within their own book. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah. You're really identifying what's missing. What gaps are we missing as an agency to try and recoup some revenue? Yeah, because we're missing quite a bit, I would imagine. Yeah. At our agency, we were very adamant about only package business. We didn't really even allow monoline. So unless it was just auto, but we did allow auto, but not home. Sure. Unless it was a very rare case. So that said, I mean, we still had gaps where we could go recoup that. Yeah. So that's certainly a huge
if
tool.
The agency sentiment towards that changes, it's like, hey, we're fine with monoline home now. Go get it. Or whatever. So.
And the reason it's a cool prospecting and X-date tool is because you're still giving them access to your app that they can go manage their insurance regardless of who it's written with. So if they ended up getting a quote with you, but went to Allstate, which is maybe a carrier you don't write,
you'd still
use the app and still use it to manage your insurance because I can access Allstate. Yeah. And then when you're ready, you can ask for a quote from me to compare.
Right.
And in the meantime, in the background, my dashboard, I'm looking you up and making sure, they did go with Geico. They did go with Allstate. Okay, I'm going to pay attention to that. Now you can make a note in your system to round it back out in a couple months.
I love it. So let me ask you this question. How did two successful agency guys become two tech guys? Like, what's that story? Like,
first and foremost, I am not a tech guy. I just work at a tech company. No,
I look at you guys and your evolution, and from afar, I'm like, how did that even happen? How on earth did that happen?
Do you actually know the whole story about that?
Well, I know the agency sold, and I know a couple other little ancillary things.
And I only ask because it's
I don't know. I've heard Ryan's version of the story but it was kind of a watered down version where it's like, so we were thinking about doing it and we went and did it, and I'm like, okay, cool, but there's got to be more to the story where I'm going. How do two incredibly successful insurance agency guys? I know the agency sold and you had a non-compete, so you had to go do something else anyway.
Yeah.
But how did you guys do it?
Yeah.
I would never have the guts to go start a tech company because, again, I'm not a techie guy. It's so funny you say that because every once in a while some of these shows get a little E on it, and I'm like, whoa, honey, look, I'm explicit.
Here we go.
I'm like on the same level as Tupac.
I think you were going to say Eminem, but
Tupac. I'm a Tupac guy.
Okay, cool. That story is a really good one. I wish we had documented it on film from the beginning because it would be cool to watch.
It would be cool.
We only recently did that, but
it'd be really cool to watch.
Honestly, this all started with Ryan and his novel idea to just make sure we bridge the gap in communication between a client, an agency, and a carrier because there really is a lack of trust.
Totally.
In the industry,
and
carriers don't trust agents don't trust carriers, policyholders don't trust agencies, etc. So he was overhearing every day the amount of phone calls that would come into our agency, 200, 300, 400 calls a day. 75% of those calls had to do with the most basic, what we call tier 1 service requests, making the agency no money. But you have to field those calls. It's a maintenance thing. But we were having to hire so many humans to make sure those phone calls were taken care of. We didn't feel like the client wanted to make that call. They just had to. They don't have a choice. But if we gave them a tool to do something, then maybe they wouldn't call, and then we wouldn't have to hire so many humans. And although we like giving people jobs, it's not that point. It's the fact that we prefer to have them as salespeople. Like, let's bring them over. So that said, we went over. Most things happen over beers. We went to beers up the street, and we said, let's map this out.
You and your brother
Ryan,
and
Shawn Mulhern. And we actually had a fourth co-founder at the time. He was there with us as well there. But we mapped out how this would work. And we decided, hey, let's throw some money at this, get someone to head up the development behind seeing if it would even work. So to connect to carriers.
Is this before the agency even
sold? Before the agency even sold.
Interesting.
We were meeting mornings, nights.
And saying, let's make this a passion project outside of work hours.
I'd say for 18 months, we met before and after work to figure out how this would work. We even took a gap where we stopped doing it for 5-6 months just to say, what's probably not right now. Anyways, when we...
this is a big thing. We underestimated this. Let's get away from this for a second.
And there was a day in 2018, at the end of 2018, where we were able to get this developer to do exactly what we wanted, which is to connect a carrier to our fake platform and bring in policy documents from that system and basically... intercept or extract those documents, and now we have them. Oh my gosh, we just bridged a huge gap. This is going to work. Now we just need to figure out how we're going to white label it to an agency and turn it into their platform. And so we said, I think we have something here. We should probably consider putting more money towards this. So we ended up getting that person locked in as the core developer. He had a team, and then he basically started putting his minions on it. And then the agency was getting ready to sell.
Say that. Somebody's going to be offended.
Some minion I'm talking about the movie. What are you talking about?
Some minions are like, hey,
is Elf better?
I'm a developer, and he just called me a minion.
Call me Elf one more time. Great movie.
Marvelous movie.
Yes. By the way, I think that could be number 2. Number 1's Home Alone 2.
As far as Christmas movies?
Yes, sorry. I didn't,
okay.
Sorry. I thought we were...
I haven't seen Home Alone 2 since I was
what
7
are we
or 8
doing?
or 8, 9.
You need to go home tonight and turn.
It's that good. In. Home Alone 2 is that good.
It's that good.
It's better than 1.
Yes, definitely better than 1. Yeah, the last hour is outstanding.
Of course, where everybody's getting hurt.
Oh my gosh, Marv.
All right.
Where are we
what about
there?
Christmas Vacation?
That's just not even in my top 5.
Are you kidding me?
That's
It's because sad. It's because you're younger, though. I mean, if you were older, you'd be like, that's. Yeah. I mean, so many people are listening and they're going, they're 48, and they're going, Christmas vacation's the best,
I get it.
But that's not even in your top whatever.
Elf not top amazing. 5. Not Elf's top amazing. 5. Elf's number 1 or 2.
Elf is great. Okay, sorry. Where were we? Minions.
Minions building. Okay,
you got a developer, and you locked him in. And,
agency sold, and then the next week we rented a shared office.
And you said
space,
we're
just gonna go start doing something here.
Wow.
So. And by the way, when you have something from scratch, outside of insurance, where you just have like nothing to like walk into the office and start doing, it's very strange. You're like, now what? We have something here. Like, where do we begin?
Yeah, right.
There's got to be systems in place and processes in place and marketing and like, I don't know. So we like.
So were the 3 of you like sitting there looking at each
other?
Yeah,
we're like, now what?
We had one little itty bitty success that technically doesn't count really much, but
we had this like launch party where we invited a couple hundred people to come enjoy the moment of like we started a company, but then we had the company started, and now what? So that was very strange. So we had to come up with a brand, and noticed maybe just some like branding coming out, and what is this? Coverager wrote an article on our concept, and
I remember
put it out there like GloveBox is coming, and you can check out what that article was, and we were like, oh my gosh, we didn't even know we were on the map. Like, that's interesting.
Well, and then you had the astronaut. Like it was amazing how quickly people started talking about GloveBox.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing how quickly.
And actually, you and I met out in ITC that year in 2019, before the pandemic, 2019, and we had met at ITC in Vegas. And I think you were even like, what's going on here? What is this? I know you guys, but I don't know what's going on here. So that was interesting. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I think, and then most people at ITC, because that was our coming out party as the industry, ITC, and they were like, oh, that's so really good idea. And everyone's just like, that was my idea. I thought of that too. They're like, did you? Or even if you did, well, like,
where's it documented?
Exactly. So interesting.
Very interesting.
It's one story that we'll obviously always look back on and say, wow, I can't believe we actually took the lead.
How many staff is it now? I know it's gotten big.
We ended up getting to about 40 representatives from the company, and right now we're at about 25.
Okay.
We had, and they're not layoffs; they were just fits. Are they a good fit? For us, it's always we probably grew a sales team too quickly.
Sure. Happens all the time.
To get to a better stable. So that's where we're at now, about 25.
Okay, let's shift away from GloveBox for a second.
Sure.
You and Ryan were infamous for getting some of the largest lenders in Colorado to just basically be like, here's every single at-bat we do, which is thousands of bats a month.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I think that's how you guys got this humongous agency, was these mortgage lenders as lead providers, and you guys were like the gods of getting mortgage lenders to send you their leads. Yeah. So what's the trick?
Gosh, it's all about perspective. I think when you walk into a mortgage broker's office, you have to understand that.
Wait, you walked into mortgage lenders' offices?
Knock.
And like, you said hi to somebody face to face,
like shook hands,
and said, "Will you send me your business to me?"
Gosh, isn't that a novel idea?
That's crazy.
I'll tell you one thing, and I actually brought some of these. Metal business cards.
Okay.
You've seen these.
Yep, I've seen those.
This makes a big impact. So I would always like slap it on the table. It makes a noise.
Clink.
And that's like a moment. Yeah. They're like, whoa. It's like a trigger. What is that?
Yeah.
All right, I pick it up. I feel, who are you? Like, who are you with?
Yeah.
So you got to have some sort of.
Notice he put it back. He's not leaving it.
He's
like, this is a $6 business card. I'm not.
Yeah, I will say they are like $1 a piece. Are you worth $1? No, but it's like, that's a moment. So that's the icebreaker.
Sure. Yeah.
So you have to have an icebreaker. Whatever it is, whatever you do. There was this captive agent that I always used to run into on our paths for mortgage broker referrals, and he would do gum. And he was called the gum guy. And I would just call him the gum guy. Oh, there's the gum guy.
Yeah.
And so I would notice how was his icebreaker is gum.
Yeah.
But just have an icebreaker.
Yeah.
So that was for us, it was the middle business cards.
Yeah.
And then your perspective is, when you're walking into their office, you're in their territory. So what are you going to do to make them feel more comfortable about what you just did and invaded their space? For me, it was always quickly seeking out in the room something about the office that made sense to start with.
Yeah.
Sports.
I love golf too.
Yeah.
Broncos I love
exactly.
Broncos.
What's going on with that game? So you got to go from your icebreaker over to something about them, personal.
Yeah.
And then they feel welcome. Like everyone's getting more cozy.
Sure.
And then you could kind of lead into the business side. And when you are establishing a relationship, you're not going to ask for business right away.
Yeah.
You're gaining insight about them.
Yeah.
For me, it was, do you work with an agent? Number one.
Where are you currently sending your stuff?
Yeah. And then my favorite part, that it's saying, what do they do well? What do they not do well? Yeah. And when they're telling you what do they do well, you are taking mental notes or physical notes because they're telling you what they want. And when they tell you what they want, now you know how to treat them. And then when you bridge the question, what do they not do well? That's your opportunity. Your opportunity is, hey, I just asked you a question that means something to you, like, hey, what do they not do well? Now I can come in and do that thing really well. And if you're consistently showing up every week for the next few months, you're going to earn business. Yeah. So it was just about perspective.
Physically showing up.
Gosh.
Wow.
We're going to try that, guys. Report back on how often you're
physically walking into somebody's office.
Knock. Yeah.
You know, that's the incredible thing to me. Like, if people go, hey, Shawn, what should I do? And I'm like, okay, here's what you do.
Warm up the car first.
Do you go to church? And they're like, yes, I do. I'm like, great. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
Wherever you go where there's a lot of people, let's just call it church. There's a mortgage lender at your church today.
Somewhere.
And you just need to find that guy and take him out to lunch.
Yeah.
And have a conversation like the one you just said. And then he'll start sending you his leads. And then the agent comes back, 3 months later, and they're like, what should I do? And I'm like, did you go find the mortgage lender that you go to church with and take him to lunch? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Good
that's
start.
the dumbest thing I've
How about
ever
this?
heard.
How about even better? Every person you run into, well, I shouldn't say every person, many people that you run into have bought a house at some point.
Right.
Who did you use when you got that loan?
So
there's like 10 people in front of me. I'm going to ask 10 of them. I bet 8 of them have done it. So who is your guy?
And now they know who their guy is because their guy
John
is a friend.
Smith referred me to you to talk to you about X.
Right.
Okay, let's start the conversation.
Right.
So it's just not that hard. Obviously, that's the first piece is just to find out who you're going to go see.
Right.
And then when you actually are in front of them, how are you going to come across? And then after that, are you going to follow up? And if you follow up, when are you going to ask for the business? So it's like third or fourth time you're going to start asking. And I didn't call it a lead. I called it an opportunity. Yeah. So I talked to the lender, hey, do you have an opportunity for me to show you what I can do?
I like that.
And I'm going to be a cherry on top of your loan.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the client feel better about their loan process with you because that was an easy part of the process.
Yeah. And it just so happened that you got some of the largest lenders in Colorado who were taking tons of at-bats.
Just repetition, getting in front of them all the time. And that was actually my core role at the agency for a long time, is just being out in the street, drumming up leads
for the
sending
agency.
It into a team of inside sales reps. And then they would groom into outside sales reps, so I'd train them how to do it.
Okay, so the follow-up question is did you guys do any other verticals, or was that like the vertical?
That was like
that's our vertical. We're going all in on that
80%
vertical.
Mortgage, probably 10% current client referrals, and then a mix of the rest, social media and natural market and all the other things that can be incorporated for lead generation. So why is that a better, in my opinion, why is that a better lead on the mortgage side? Well, because they have to have it in order to close on the home.
Yep.
And so, yes, they probably already currently have someone, but it's an easy opportunity to shop it right then and there.
Well, and you have time too. So the loan doesn't close for 30 days. You have time to actually... The agency has time to create a little relationship with this person before they actually close. They have time to say, hey, we'd like to round this out with the autos and create a little relationship before, hey, your closing date's coming. I'm excited for you. Congratulations on your new house. And I'm your agent, and hopefully you stay with me for the next 10 years.
You brought up a really good point, the package side. Yeah. So I would say most are nervous or have some anxiety about asking for the auto when they're only focused on the home, like the client only cares about the home.
Which is crazy.
Well, there's a few ways to go around that. It's just, hey, one, you don't want to have insurance over here and over here. You're doing yourself a disservice. That's going to be confusing, kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah. Obviously, you're getting discounts for coming, bringing it all in one place. Yeah. But really, do you want to have multiple agents? Isn't that kind of a hassle for you? Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to get around that conversation, but it's really just, I'm going to do best for you. And actually, our agency really only works with clients that want to be with us for a long time. And you're only going to be with us for a long time if you have everything.
It's funny to me when I meet agents that struggle with the simple objections like that, where it's like, why are you struggling with that? I made a video a long time ago that said it was about lead generation versus lead determination. And every agent, I start out the video going, if you're an insurance agent, you should not struggle at all with lead generation. Like, you should be awesome at it. You're a salesperson. You should thrive off of.
Should be what you're best at.
Yeah, it should be what you're absolutely best at. So if you're not good at that, maybe consider leaving the industry, because you shouldn't be asking, how do I do this? You should just be That should be the thing that motivates you all day long, every day, is to get those 2 leads, or to go, I bet I can get 3 now. I bet I can get 28 now, you know? And really what it has to evolve to is, okay, now that I've got 100 leads coming in the door, I should be better at lead determination, not lead generation.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think,
but it blows me away how many agents struggle to do just the lead generation part, you know?
Yeah. Well, you're not going to have a sustainable career in insurance without
if you're
it.
not.
And actually, we generally recommend to agents, don't even focus on sales for the first 6 months. Only focus on marketing.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to matter if you can't keep doing it. Like, you should be able to turn on that faucet and it should flow very well for you. So focus on leads for the first half of your first year.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Next question. This one might be complicated. Okay, we're back to the GloveBox conversation. Okay. What makes GloveBox better than the others out there? So are there others that are kind of replicating the GloveBox experience? And maybe I don't even know the answer to that question. So let's just start there. Are there others that replicate the GloveBox experience? If so, what makes GloveBox better than the others out there?
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and name competitors that are in the space, because it makes it easier to talk about.
Okay, good.
So you have about 4 other products that are similar. Okay. No one's going to be able to do it the same way. Okay. But I'm not saying we're better. We're just doing it differently.
Saying it's different.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So number 1, you have Insurance Agent app. You have
there's an app called Insurance Agent app.
Yeah, they're about 10 years into the industry.
Okay, got it.
They're ultimately doing is connecting to your AMS and being able to display what's inside of it.
And a lot do that.
Yeah, that's really the premise.
And they're displaying that to the client. They're displaying to the client what is in your agency management system.
Yeah, okay, and then you have the actual management systems that typically have, sometimes have their own products. So you have a CSR24, which is an applied product. You have InsureLink, which is a Vertafore product for AMS 360. Okay. And then I don't even believe there's any others specific to the management system side, but those are the kind of the 3 main applications out there for agents. It's Insurance Agent app, CSR24, and InsureLink. Okay. So those are the 3 core competitors.
So the ones owned by Applied and Vertafore, those are humongous juggernaut organizations. How do you compete against something that big?
Well, if you want, I can go into some more detail about what's going on really with the products, and that's
let's stick to that first, I guess.
Yeah, it's just that when you are bridging from your management system and displaying to clients what's living in that system, there's opportunity for potential exposure where it could be downloaded data that's fat-fingered or stale. Or manipulated in some way by an individual inside the agency. So there's a lot of opportunity there for potential exposure. Yeah. So we think that product could be a potential opportunity for a client to not really see what they need inside of a so that's probably the one thing that we can hang our hat on, is that we're connected to carriers. So we're
straight to the carrier.
We're pulling the carrier data and documentation. Again, I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying it's different. And so it's an agent's choice. Do you want to display what's in your system, or do you want to display what's in the carrier? Because in our view, at the end of the day, the insured really is working with you, the agent, but their insurance is with the carrier. That's something that you would have to decide as an agency. What's the better placement for you? What's the better opportunity to give this what your clients want? So,
interesting.
The other piece of it is how is that connection working? So we have 2 types of connections inside GloveBox. We're either formally connected, and we extract policy documents and data from a system of the carrier. Or if we don't have that formal connection, we're embedding the experience that the carrier
offers.
Their
app into your app.
Exactly. So it's like
I think, right.
Allstate was if they have an app, great. Let's pull it into GloveBox and use their app inside of ours, and then brand it to the agent. Yeah. So that's an interesting concept. Typically, without any sort of digital tool that an agent has, they would just say, go to the carrier app, download that. But we don't really want that, regardless of who you use as a tool, because now the client's working with Progressive, Allstate, doesn't matter.
Right. You want them working in your app, not their app.
Yeah, it's your stuff. Keep them in front of you.
Yeah.
You can leverage the carrier's tech by using your own through GloveBox.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. The question is agents winning today are doing this, but I feel like we've already revolved around that. So maybe let me ask you it a different way. Who are some agents that are absolutely killing it in the insurance industry?
You want to name names?
Sure.
Yeah.
And absolutely killing it. And then maybe, if you name a couple names, 2, 3, 4, 20, whatever, what makes them specifically killers in what they're doing?
Love that question.
Okay.
I'm going to shout out the urban young team down in Florida. I don't
know. Those dudes are cool.
Have you met them?
I have. I forget where, but I know I've met them.
They're some of the most. Actually, it was probably at the One City World Tour here in Denver.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably was.
So we got to meet them at that for the first time this past year. And I'll tell you what, some of the most impressive leaders, specifically leadership. Yeah. Leadership provides culture in an organization. Yeah. Doesn't matter the industry. They wake up every morning. They do extremely well. Like they just they're motivating. They give their people tools to succeed. They say all the right things. They provide all the tools. Yeah. They've gone out of their way to build a really good culture for their organization. And for me, what are they doing right? They're providing this leadership, like follow me to the promised land. Like they're getting their agents to come with them, and their following is extraordinary, and that's actually their motto is be extraordinary. Yeah. So I've really locked in on their the way they operate, and it's extremely fun to watch. So Brett Young, Taylor Young, and Rod Erb.
I've met them all, but are they brothers? Or are they?
So Taylor and Brett are brothers. Yeah. Yep. Really,
and they all have perfectly manicured beards.
I'll tell you what, they are great looking dudes.
Like, awesome dudes. Absolutely,
great
looking dudes. Perfectly manicured beards.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that interesting? I can't really get there.
Perfect beards.
And so, quick story about Taylor Young. Okay. He's actually a former collegiate athlete in basketball, and he played at Central Florida. But before he
committed
to Central Florida, he got an offer from Davidson. It's a college. Actually, I don't even know where it is, but I want to say the northwest. Anyway, it doesn't matter where Davidson is. But there is
every listener who went to
Davidson. I know, right?
Sorry, like what the heck? 15,000 listeners that are going, I went to Davidson.
But check this out. So he had an offer from Davidson. But then they gave him a call right before the end of the recruiting trail, and they said, actually, we're going to pull that offer. There's a guy out there that we're actually going to
we're going after.
His name is Steph Curry.
Oh, wow.
You ever heard of him? So Taylor got swooped in by Steph Curry and took his spot, his scholarship at Davidson.
Wow.
And we all know what happened there.
Yeah, sure.
So Taylor ended up at Central Florida. But no, Taylor is a baller and a boss, and his brother Brett are both. They're just extremely impressive.
Yeah, I've been watching them from afar, and they've got a great little marketing game going on.
I know it.
Which
I know
is
it. They
fun
have a great
to watch.
Podcast.
I watched them get into a bucket of ice the other day on something. I don't know.
See, they're like, leading.
Whoa,
they're like,
great.
Watch me do this. You know? And so actually, Brett is speaking at the One City World Tour in January in 23 in Austin, Texas. Yeah. So we're excited about that. He is a stellar person. So buy some tickets to the One City World Tour.
That's coming. Don't worry. We'll throw plenty of time into that.
And I'll do one more name for you. Okay. And then we can maybe work into why they're different.
Okay.
So the other one would be Patrick McBride. Patrick also has great content. Content's very important. I don't think it's the end all be all, but it establishes your brand. And if you don't have a brand, you're just the same John Smith agency out there. Sure. So you got to stand out in some way.
Patrick McBride.
Patrick McBride. I
wonder if I know him.
Yeah. So seek out that name. So what is he doing differently? I don't even say different. He's just really good at consistently putting out information about what's going on in the market that people actually care about.
I love that.
Versus just the carrier-provided newsletter that you're just going to post online.
Like, absolutely.
So he's actually going out of his way to establish content and put it in a video form, short clips, just mini clips.
That makes sense for the consumer.
The client actually cares about, you know, not winterizing your house
I
and stuff.
know, it kills me. Hey, it's Father's Day. If your tire blows out, you know, it's
like, same old. So anyways, Patrick McBride, the Urban Young team, CJ Hudson-Pillar, outstanding.
Good heavens, that guy's smart.
I mean, he's honestly a little bit more involved with the tech side. So
that guy.
He's doing very well for himself.
Very smart.
The list goes on and on of great agents out there, but I think kind of the theme is making sure you're consistently putting in that activity. So if you have a game plan, consistently do it. Yeah. And don't just be all over the place. It's not going to work. Yeah,
it's a great point. You know, like CJ's, you're absolutely right. Like we could name 40 names, and I think the common variable with all of those names that we would name off is the consistency of activity. And it's amazing to me that they all do different activity.
Exactly.
And they're still knocking it out of the park. You know, like CJ's, it seems like his constant activity is headed down that tech road.
Sure.
But he's killing it. He's knocking it out of the park. And the boys down in Florida, it seems like their activity is marketing and building a culture, and they're killing it, right? Yes. And it attracts people.
People want to come work
people want to come work for them, and they can build a bigger and bigger and bigger team. But it seems like no matter who we throw out there, it'd just be like identifying what their consistent activity is that's making them kill it.
Yeah. Another name, Aaron Gordon, if you don't know him out of New York. Gosh, he's just established this brand that I really think is going to end up paying dividends long term. So just have a thing that you do really well and do it really well consistently, and you're going to be fine.
Okay, cool. Winning tech companies are doing this today. So we just talked about what winning insurance agents are doing, but what are winning tech companies doing?
Winning tech companies are working well with others, other vendors. They're helping.
Very interesting.
Gosh, the buzzword right now is integrate, but it really does mean something and makes sense to help agents build their tech.
Does that just mean little tech companies are asking bigger tech companies, please integrate with us? Is that what that means?
Yes and no. That's certainly a part of it, but really you have, I keep bringing up ITC because it's just, it's an InsurTech.
If you haven't been to ITC, go to ITC. It's amazing.
It's in Las Vegas.
Enough said, right?
End of the conversation.
There's a sweet concert at the end every year, but even if you don't have an appropriate place at ITC, it's still amazing to go sit and watch and listen.
Yeah, it's the landscape.
If you just go sit and watch and listen, you will walk away 3 days later having learned a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
No, but integration is that buzzword, but it's like agents have a hard time understanding which technologies to jump into and start using.
Yeah.
So I think if we as InsurTech vendors, insurance company vendors, help integrate with each other and provide a true tech stack, then we're helping them. And by the way, tech stack meaning like what pieces of software do you put together for your agents to use? So that's a hard thing to navigate as an agency owner. It's like
so hard.
There's 100 different things I could choose. I don't know which ones. Yeah. So if we, for example, GloveBox, work well with ABC vendors and we integrate with them and they integrate with us,
then it's a natural stack.
Yeah.
There's a natural flow.
Yeah. Now there's the actual workflows and operations that help an agency work better. So what are winning tech companies doing? They're working well with each other. They're not saying stiff arm.
Yeah.
Let's see.
They're saying, hey, let's all integrate together so that the appropriate agency tech stack is this AMS system, this, CRM, this, and that. Yeah.
Like, for example, for us, we are a home base for other software because if your clients are using GloveBox, they want to be able to use other softwares inside of GloveBox. Right. So we have a home base for other softwares inside of ours. Yeah. So that's an opportunity.
Interesting. I never thought of it that way. Like, you go to one vendor and that vendor saying, if you choose us, it just makes sense that you plug in these three other pieces of technology and we're making it easier for you, the insurance agent, to swim through this decision-making process.
Because there's like a get a quote button. So now you have a quote capture opportunity with another vendor. There's a service request button, so you can use a chatbot of your own or one that you find. Yeah. There is any rater that you would want to plug in that helps plug in that information to your rater. So there's plenty of opportunities to be a home base. So that's how we do it, and we're going to be working more with CRMs and AMS systems to kind of push and pull information.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, we're going back to the insurance side. Funniest insurance story you've ever had in your whole career? I have funniest claim story, but what's just the funniest story? It could be it could be we were in the office and we played this prank on Ryan, or whatever.
Oh my gosh, so many come to mind.
And this is important because there's an 18-year-old right now going, should I get into insurance? And he's going to be like, no, it's stupid. It's the dumbest industry on earth. But he's going to hear your story and be like, that's freaking funny.
All right.
They get crazy. They get crazy in the independent insurance or in the insurance industry, and I want to be a part of that.
So this is one that was like, it started off as being like just a ho-hum story, and then all of a sudden it got to be like, oh no, what's going on here? Oh no, oh that's funny. Oh, what that? And so let me lead you down the path. Yeah. So this was probably 2017. I was running a team of agents at the agency. Throughout the day, I heard one of my agents quoting and selling a policyholder. And gosh, the policy felt like it was already sold. I felt like he already won the deal. He was on the phone with them. Yeah. Awesome, sounds good. And then he just kept going and kept going and kept going. And I was like, hang up the phone. Yeah, like you already sold the deal. Just get off the phone. They don't want to be on the phone with you anymore. And you overheard this conversation. I'm looking over the glass like, are you going to hang up? It's been like 35 minutes. I think you won the deal at minute 5. And I think the rest of the team was recognizing it too. And it was just awkward. We were like, how do we help them get off the phone?
Yeah,
well, at the end of the call, you heard his emotions go way down. It sunk because I think he lost the deal. And he hung up the phone and he says, I think they just ended up wanting to shop somewhere else at the end of that call. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I heard you say I'll collect payment information on the next phone call. Right. And then we helped him get back in a better place to call that person back and say, can we just get back down to business?
Yeah,
and he did win the business back. But I'm just like, the moral of the story is get off the phone. You won the deal. So it's just
once you got it done.
Yeah. So it's too bad, but like you recognize in your own sales procedure that you probably have an opportunity to just like, you're good. Like just be okay with being done. All right, so it doesn't need to be any more than a 10-minute phone call at some time.
You know what's funny about that is it's always fun. Like, I feel like I'm a sales guy, and it's always fun to like go ride with another sales guy and just kind of like see what they're doing great and then see what you're going, I would never, ever, ever do that. You know, like you're doing something I would never touch, you know.
I'm usually down to just get down to it. Just get to the point. Like, quick little 2-minute rapport. You're good. Like, jump on into the
very
sale.
Playful, you know, like very assumptive.
Talk about Fluffy the dog for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. And then be like, here's what I'm here for.
Yeah. So not a funny story, but an interesting story.
Okay, so let's ask it a different way. Funniest agent you know?
Funniest agent I know?
Where you're like, man, when I get with that person, it's just a riot the whole time.
I feel like I've heard some of your episodes. I feel like Chad Maxey comes to
Chad
mind.
Maxey is hilarious.
That's my brother, so like not literally, but him and I ran a sales team together.
He is
Team Chandy is what we called it. Chad and Andy, Team Chandy.
I've heard that phrase before.
Just so witty and fun and like knowledgeable, so that makes it nice and enjoyable in this industry. But gosh, the dude just turned something basic into a fun conversation. So I really enjoy him.
I know. I honestly, like if I were to sit and ride along with him and watch his sales pitch, I guarantee you his clients absolutely love interacting with him just because he's hilarious. You know, you sit with him and you're like, I'm laughing and I'm saying yes, and now I'm signing the policy.
He's also a former bartender, so I think you have a different personality. Any bartender is going to be funny and fun. I think that helps tremendously.
I think you're right. I think
Service
you're right.
industry for sure.
All right. Best GloveBox agency success story.
Oh, gosh. Well,
so you got a ton of people using GloveBox across America, but the agent that is using GloveBox the best and is having the wildest success with it.
I've already mentioned this agency, but Urban Young. So they're one of our clients. And here's what they did. They injected a phone prompt into their system. So every time a client calls into their agency, they basically look to get them off the phone.
Okay.
Hey, did you know you could do, like there's a 2-minute hold before you even get to a receptionist, but the hold music is very important information. Here's how we operate. Here's what you can do. Hang up now and go do this yourself. They don't want to take on phone calls, basic phone calls. And so we noticed that during the hurricane down in Florida, so they're in Florida, Hurricane Ian this past year, they had obviously hundreds of calls coming in, just like panic, chaos. So they want to get to the real important calls. So they were promoting the hell out of their app on on social, on their phone system, on their emails. Anytime they picked up the phone, they made sure that people understood this is how it can be done and go do it yourself. So that was a massive opportunity to say, hey, look, we're pushing off the calls that aren't as important to the tech, and then we're taking on the calls that mean something. And we don't have to wait on hold for someone else. So it was just a cool story because a very catastrophic moment in the state, in the agency, chaos is going on. Let the tech do the stuff that doesn't matter as much. Take on the phone calls that are important. So that's a GloveBox success story.
Yeah, very cool. Aaron Gordon uses GloveBox.
He's agent number one.
He was the very first agent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he sought us out, so that was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Who's cooler?
Me.
Who's cooler? You, Bradley Flowers, or Scott Howell?
What if they're going to hear this?
They are going to hear this. I'll make sure they hear it. But who's cooler, Bradley Flowers or Scott Howell?
That's totally not fair. You're going to put...
it has to be said, though, so there needs to be an answer.
The answer is Scott Howell. But Bradley, it's not your fault. Scott is a unique person. He is very much like he's a gem. He is a gem. Like the man is a legend in this industry. If you came to one city, you would know that guy has the personality for days. He's got all the witty sayings you could possibly have. He's from the deep South, so he's got some things you've never heard of before.
Right. He'll say things where you're like,
so it's
what?
Oh my gosh. He has like some comments about like, he makes jokes about like horses and ponies a lot. He's got some, so and I'm like, I've literally never heard that in my entire life. Like, I'm from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. So like, Scott's just outrageously funny, super cool dude. Just says whatever's on his mind. The bluntness is appreciated, respected. Now again, Bradley is the man. He knows what he's talking about. Dude brings it every day to the industry. Super respect Bradley. And I actually talk to Bradley daily. But sorry, Bradley.
But Scott's cool.
Yeah, sorry. It has nothing to do with you, Bradley.
Oh, he's probably.
I'm gonna get a text later.
Yeah, you're gonna get something soon.
I'll beat him to it. I'm gonna tell him this happened.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll text with Scott, and no matter what, I'm laughing and crying from the text.
He'll send me random videos.
I'm like, oh shoot, man.
It was like 6 months ago. He would send every other day like a funny video, just him recording himself, just a selfie video, just like saying something ridiculous. I'm like, what are you even talking about right now? This is amazing. I'll send you some. This is great.
Cool. Coolest agent you know?
I thought we did that.
No, you did funniest agent.
Oh,
the coolest agent. You know?
Oh, the coolest agent.
It's probably the same question. We can move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. If I said you? It's not me though. It couldn't possibly be me. It couldn't possibly be.
You're like, I don't write policies anymore.
I may be licensed, but I haven't written a policy in
same.
18
By the way, I got to
years.
renew my license in a couple months.
I haven't written a policy in 18 years.
I was going to say at least a decade.
Yeah. So, One City World Tour.
Yeah.
Let's make this the One City World Tour commercial. So what is it?
Yeah, so Bradley came to me with the idea. Many know that we're a sponsor, headline sponsor for the Insurance Guys podcast. If you haven't listened to that, Scott.
Yep, it's amazing.
Scott Howell, Bradley Flowers. We got approached by them, and they said, hey, well, how would you like to put on a mastermind group of just elite agents that are coming together and share true value, not just like same old. Like, let's actually get down to business on how we're going to help grow and be effective. And so we said, duh, let's definitely put that on. Like, we've always wanted to do our own as well. So last year, actually in 2022, so this year, January, we had 200. Thank you. A 200-person independent agent event with some of the most well-known speakers as well as some hidden gems. We really go out of our way to find hidden gems. We want people to know like this is someone you probably haven't heard of before. And so we do a mix of well-known speakers and speakers you haven't heard of before. Well, this next one we're going to do in January 2023 in Austin, Texas is January 18-19. We're bringing in true leaders who are up and coming, so people you probably have not heard of before. And it's going to provide an opportunity for us to really get down to business on what matters in this industry, what's changing, what should you pay attention to, how are these people doing it better than you, so that you can truly collaborate better. And so, again, about 200 agents coming around this time. We have 18
Austin,
speakers.
Texas, right?
Austin, Texas. And so I think this one's going to be a little bit different. We have vendors this time. We didn't have vendors last time. We have a small, I think we have 12 vendors total, so it's much smaller, but we have more important opportunity to get with vendors that we think.
Where's it going to be? Like this year,
it's called
last year it was at the Bronco Stadium, which was awesome, but where's it going to be?
I wish we would have done a stadium again, but we're doing it at the Fair Market in Austin, Texas. It's kind of this, it's kind of a wedding venue, actually, so it'll be really cool.
So it'll be romantic.
It's kind of a warehouse type of a vibe.
A romantic warehouse kind of thing.
Much more collaborative this time around, where it's not as much like a one-to-many. This is going to be a lot more breakouts and conversations. So.
Well, I loved the first one. It was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
And I'm dying to get down to this one. I'm just trying to make my schedule line up. But I know I have to be there for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday conference in Dallas. An insurance conference. And so this kind of leads right into it. So I'm
Sounds
planning
like the family
on making
might
it.
come with you. Bring them down.
My wife might fly in for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing, which is an insurance thing, but she might join me. But I'm hoping to get down there and do it. So.
Yeah, and I think every time, so when you were involved with this past one, I know you chimed in on some of the conversations, which is appreciated. Your perspective means a lot to the conversation, so I think we need to try and get there for us.
Yeah,
it helps us too.
Yeah,
and we're not doing it so that we can benefit from it. We're doing it because we want to give back to the industry on our story, on the Bradley and Scott story. Just bring all the right people together.
It was so, I can't express enough. Everybody, the first one was incredible. If this next one is 50% of what the last one was, it's well worth everything. But I can only imagine it's going to be 100% better than what the last one was, because the way these things work, they just get better and better every year. So
right. I'm grinning.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It
was amazing.
July.
I can't say enough. Like, it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I wanted to one up this next one, and so
the last one.
Yeah, sorry, the last one. I actually brought on a keynote speaker that we're going to end up not having, but I'm going to tell you who it was, because now you guys can go give Bradley Flowers shit about this.
Why? Because he's the one who lost him?
He said
he's
no.
He's like, no, I hate that guy.
He said no thanks.
I'm just kidding.
So I lined up Jordan Belfort.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Wow.
And he was going to be our keynote speaker. I know.
And
so now you
Bradley Flowers poo-pooed that?
He said no.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I said.
No wonder Scott Howe's cooler than Bradley Flowers.
There it is. No, I'm just giving you shit. But Bradley, come on, man. That was an opportunity.
That would have been cool.
I'm not going to put him on blast. He was just basically saying, like, we have to align our...
I do agree, though.
Yeah,
it sounds awesome, but does it perfectly align with the insurance world? And it might not.
And he's just... I feel confident that Jordan Belfort's the best salesperson I've heard.
Yeah.
If not one of.
Yeah.
And so he could bring a lot to the individual sales process, but I understand.
See, but my question would be, like, everybody who's showing up at this thing, at least the 200 agents that I met at the last one, they were all killing it on the sales process, if you ask me. Like, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Yeah. I'm sure there were 50 people in that room going, I don't know if I'm killing, don't know if I'm a killer salesperson, right? But most of the people in that room are like killer agents with killer sales processes. So they'd be listening to the Wolf of Wall Street going,
it's more of a celebrity thing.
I'm already a killer agent. You know, I'm a killer sales guy.
Well, we really want them to take that information and build a sales team.
Yeah.
So that's not even them getting the benefit from the session of the mastermind. It's taking it to their team.
Right.
So
that would have been cool, though.
Yeah.
But I can see both sides of the argument, for sure.
There's a seminar Jordan Belfort puts on called the Straight Line Persuasion. Super cool if you haven't checked it out.
Where he hands somebody a pen in the front row and says,
Pretty
sell
much,
me this pen.
Pretty much.
And then he goes, you suck. Let's talk about why you suck.
Exactly. Yeah. Which also a cool way to do it.
If I ever go to his thing, I'll be like,
no, please don't pick me.
But
or you just prepare for your pen.
Or I'll be like, here's my Mont Blanc. Let me tell you why I bought this, you know? Like, I'll tell you exactly why this is worth $600.
Right. So didn't get Jordan Belfort, but we have, I'm telling you, awesome speakers this time around, so I'm pumped about that.
You know who I'm pumped about? Of all the speakers that I've seen announced so far is Billy Wagner.
Yeah.
That dude is dialed in.
I know it. And he just said he's adding to his team if you guys are interested.
And
he's a Brightway agency owner that he's done very well. He's got multiple locations. And, he's going to bring something special.
And he's a great presenter. If I end up going, and I think I will, I'll be excited to sit there and
other
listen
names,
to Billy Wagner.
Yeah, no doubt. Some other names, like I said, Brett Young, Aaron Gordon's going to be speaking. We have Carrie Wallace.
Carrie's great.
We have
Carrie's great.
Yeah, we have Denise Garth. She is from Majesco, which is an infrastructure company in the industry. She's the chief growth officer, I believe. And then Garrett Droege. A lot of names that are unfamiliar, actually, which is good. We want different perspective. And we want people to understand that there's hidden gems out there.
Yeah, it's so important that you that's the other thing is sometimes you go to these things and you go, I've seen this one 3 times already. So it's fun to see new names. It's fun to see new presenters.
Yep, that's definitely the goal this time.
Good. So good. Okay, rapid fire. We're wrapping up. Okay, here we go. How large of an increase before you reshop the renewal?
22%.
22%.
Yes. Rapid fire.
Wow, that's amazing.
Honestly, that's going to be an agency specific. It's just like, what are you trying to accomplish with that reshop, right? You want people to feel better about the price. At the end of the day, increases happen, especially right now. It's getting ugly out there. So you to determine that, I would say anywhere between 15 and 20 something percent.
Okay, good. I'm with you on that one. It blows my mind how many agents go, oh no, I reshop every single renewal. And
you just got to raise when you got
what?
When the premium went up.
You do?
No.
Don't do that.
Absolutely
stop. Okay, so how to help a mortgage lender in these tough times? How can I, as an insurance agent, help a mortgage lender?
Yeah.
He's struggling right now. Interest rates are going up. He's like, man, I'm not closing nearly as much as I used to. How can I help you as an insurance agent?
Yeah, relationships, because you're not going to give them leads. Please don't give your mortgage brokers leads and they expect it.
Yeah,
now you're just making sure that you have to take care and feed all these people.
Right.
It's relationship.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. I network all day on LinkedIn. I'm getting my lists put together of who's a realtor A, B, C, or D. And now I'm coordinating who should be, now I'm a quarterback. This person should be with that person.
Yeah.
If you're making introductions to a lender, they're going to take that up even further than a piece of business.
Yeah.
Because now they can turn that one relationship into multiple pieces of business.
Okay.
So relationships.
Okay. When is the right time to hire in an insurance agency?
Oh gosh, is there a reason why it wouldn't be all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're growing a good culture and you're going to build a foundation of good people in your team that can turn into leaders, then I think you're always seeking out the best talent. Now, talent's, kind of also, how do you seek out talent? It's, for me, it's attitude. It's going to be passion. What are you actually putting into your day? The energy you're putting into your day. So I think there's no right or wrong answer to that, but I think all the time should always be on the table. Yeah,
I think that's the right answer. If you were back in the agent game today, what would differentiate you from all the other agents?
The process that I'm putting into place. So it's always going to be showing up consistently every day, doing the same thing, knowing my scripts. That's just subconscious.
Yeah, that's table stakes.
Yeah, the operations, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G is how I get things done, and I operate that every single time. I'm using tech along the way to make my day better. I'm leveraging those softwares to make sure that the client has a good experience and I have a good experience, that we can move things along faster. I think there's a lot of opportunity right now with vendors that we should be seeking out and helping our agents get better. Yeah. So operations and specific processes.
Okay, cool. Why do you love insurance?
I
don't. That's why I went to tech.
Right. Everyone needs it, but they want to have a genuinely good conversation about it to make sure that they're going to care. And if you don't care about your insurance, then you're not going to renew. Yeah. So you're just going to keep moving for price. Sure. So I care about it because if I'm speaking to a prospect, I want to make them feel welcome about this conversation. Yeah. It makes them feel better about my agency. Yeah. So I just want to show that well. So you love the educational piece of insurance. I love teaching my client what I'm doing for them. Yeah. I've said relationship a bunch, but it's true. It's just it's cliche, but it's real. Yeah. If you have a great relationship with your prospects and they feel good about you, then you're winning. Yeah. Right. It's true. So don't be a price shopper. Yeah. Make sure they understand who you are in your agency. Okay. Last question. You ready? Yeah. What would you tell younger Andy? Gosh. So how long have you been in insurance in the industry? 2012, so 10 years. Okay, 10 years. So 10 years ago, what would you tell 10-year-ago Andy? Oh, why is this the hardest question? I don't know. It's a tough one. So you kind of think back on what you've done well, what you haven't done well. I think if you can move on faster from losses, but also try and figure out what's the one takeaway you're going to bring from it. Yeah. I dwell on things quite a bit. I think a lot of people do. Yeah. So if you stop dwelling on your loss, pick the thing most that makes sense for you to improve on and just go do that, right? Get over those losses. Yeah. Get over it. And so if you can kind of move on faster, you're going to be more, you're going to figure it out. I think it's just a progress thing. I just dwelled too much on losses and what didn't work, what could have gone differently, what could I have said. Yeah. So I think don't dwell, just pull what you need to from it and improve. Do you think that's an attribute of most salespeople, or do you think that's not a normal attribute for a salesperson? No, I think that's certainly a normal attribute. Yeah. I feel like at the end of the day, I think we all as humans are trying to understand what we could be doing better, but most people don't act upon it. So if you really can take away from every situation, whether I guess technically if it's a win or a loss, this is what I did well, this is what I didn't, you're going to be a better person. Just learn from it faster. And it's not even industry specific. That could just be life. Yeah. So that's for me. All right. We are done. So is there anything else you want to say? Yeah, I have a question for you. Okay. What is it? I noticed on Facebook. Yeah, here we go. No. Tables have turned. Here we go. I noticed the other day you said you are for a year you're not going to watch TV. No TV. Wow, I'm shook. Okay, so I'm shook. What's going on? My wife and I were talking about something on a date night. We were at a dinner table at some Mexican restaurant, and we were just talking about something. And then I'm like, "Well, what if we turned off the TV for a year?" And we were both like, "Whoa!" Like every human would. Yeah. We were like, "That would be impossible. Yeah, how could we even do that?" Yeah. Like. There's moments where, as parents, we have to turn on the TV so that we have a moment of sanity. So I can just have that hour and a half or whatever, So for like a month, we were like
mulling that over. Like, is it even possible? Which says a lot about our society. You know? It says a lot about our addiction to TV because we're not stupid. I mean, we were sitting there going, could we even do that? Like that, we wrestled with that question for a good solid 6 weeks.
Interesting.
And then we even asked the kids, like, kids, do you think this is even possible? And the whole time I'm like philosophically in my head going, why are we struggling with this decision so much? Like, this shouldn't be a matter of, is it possible? Of course it's possible. But I'll tell you, I'll just say we have done it. We're like maybe 2 months in. Okay. It's been a piece of cake, by the way. Yeah. It's had some incredible upswings, or it's had some incredible positive benefits to everything. Like, the family is having more meaningful conversations because there's time now for it. Instead of turning on some stupid YouTube video and be like, hey, I saw this today, kids.
By the way,
watch
so
this.
TV is also the phone watching.
Yeah, it's YouTube. It's it's stuff. You know, don't get me wrong. Like, we'll still watch the. By the way, we built in a ton of caveats, so we'll still go watch the Avatar movie, and we'll still go. I watched the World Cup final. All right, there's a few caveats like built in. But
it's someone else's TV. It's not your TV.
Yeah, but there's some caveats built in throughout the year. But my only point is as a family, we're having more meaningful conversations. Cool. My wife the other day was like, hey, it's Christmas. We should go serve a family or something. And I'm like, the old me would have been like, we don't have time for that crap. You know, like.
And here we are, being better people.
Now she's like, let's go serve somebody. I'm like, what else are we doing? Let's do it. You know? And so like we just, it feels like we're turning into something cooler. You know, it feels pretty good. We're playing the guitar. We're a guitar family. So we're playing the guitar way more.
Excellent.
And
I love that.
And I'm reading way more. What you saw on Facebook is me reading. So like, we're keeping a running list of all the books that we're reading throughout the year.
Well done.
And so, it's just, I mean, it's just a fun challenge.
Do you have
That's all it is.
A favorite TV show that you're going to miss?
So I'm big on reruns. I love watching The Office. I love watching Parks and Rec. I love, there's a lot of stuff that we like, you know, but it's just kind of like, yeah, we can binge watch that when the year's over. So
You're
it's
not
no big
be able
deal.
To see Elf. Or Home Alone 2 for that.
Actually, Elf was one of the caveats we built in.
Oh, look at that.
So we watched Elf like 2 weeks ago.
I thought you were going to.
I was like, I love this movie.
I thought you were going to like remove TVs from your house, like get them out of there.
No. The TV's still there. And by the way, we'll still YouTube like guitar videos. So if we want to learn a good song, we can still turn on the TV. We still turn on Spotify on the TV and bump it through the house. But yeah, it's off and it's been great. I would encourage anybody to try it. And by the way,
I'm not jumping in that. I'm not jumping.
Most people are like, that's stupid. I would never. But like, you also think about like, what am I missing out on? Like, you and I can't talk about Yellowstone right now, and it's like, okay, sorry, I can't talk about Yellowstone.
I can't contribute.
I'm still reading all the articles about what's happening with the Broncos. I know they suck. I haven't watched any games just because we've turned off the TV. So
this season, you're okay with that? Like it's
right.
Okay.
My soul is not anguished all that bad. So it's been wild, but it's been kind of fun in a weird way. It's been kind of fun. So. You have any more questions for me?
I'm
just
kidding.
Think.
But, we're going to end that here.
Okay. That is the Andy Mathisen Show. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you later. This has been Insurance You Indemnify Me. We'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.
Premier Group Insurance is providing this podcast for informational uses only. This podcast should not be relied on as legal or medical advice. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Premier Group Insurance. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsement to them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Premier Group Insurance employees, i.e. Shawn Michael Walker, are those of the employees and do not necessarily reflect the view of Premier Group Insurance. Copyright 2022. Premier Group Insurance, Inc., all rights reserved.